So you have high ping in Fortnite and you're trying to lower it and you feel like you've tried everything. Well, today I'm going to show you all the methods that I know of to get your ping as low as possible. And for those of you who are unfortunate enough to be stuck on high ping, as in you're in a location that's just too far away from the Fortnite servers, I'll also be giving you guys some tips so you can become an insane player even on really high ping. So with all that being said, let's jump right into it. Kicking off this video, the first tip we have is to make sure that you're using an Ethernet cable. You've definitely heard other people mention this, and that's for a good reason. By not using an Ethernet cable to power your internet on your console or PC, you are really missing out on the potential of lowering your ping drastically. The reason you should be using an Ethernet cable is because it provides you with a direct connection between your router and your console or PC. This makes it nearly impossible for you to have your internet cut in and out, and overall just gives you a much more stable connection. And this is because you're being directly connected to your router. With Wi-Fi on the other hand, your connection has to travel upstairs, through walls, and it overall just makes for a weaker connection. And it's almost a guarantee that on Wi-Fi your internet will drop out every now and again, and that's just because Wi-Fi isn't even near as stable as a wired connection is. So just going on Amazon and purchasing a cheap $10 to $20 Ethernet cable will do wonders in helping you lower your ping and prevent random connection dropouts. Also, an Ethernet cable does work on PC and all consoles, so be sure to give this tip a try and let me know just how much better your internet is when you're using a wired connection. The next tip we have is to close background apps when you're playing. I know this one seems simple enough. Just make sure all of your apps are closed when you're playing Fortnite, right? Well, there might be something else that's causing your high ping and you might not know how to fix it. What we're going to need to do is disable some run at startup apps. Essentially, these apps are applications that will run secretly in the background from the second your PC is on until you turn it off, therefore decreasing overall performance. So to disable startup apps, all you need to do is open Task Manager and anyway, go ahead and open Task Manager, click the Startup tab, and then you'll see a bunch of applications that either say enabled or disabled. So what you want to do is go ahead and right-click any of the applications and click Disable on any of the applications you don't need immediately upon startup. And then once you've done that, you should see a noticeable decrease in ping and better performance depending on how many startup apps you disabled. The next tip for this video is to run a virus scan of your PC. When your PC is running like normal, you typically don't think that there's anything wrong. However, this isn't always the case, and some viruses don't just go after making your PC slower. They do other things in the background so you don't notice them as easy. So what you want to do is download an application called Malwarebytes. All you need to do is start up the app and then click scan. It'll perform a quick scan of your computer, and if it finds anything, all you need to do is click the quarantine button, and then Malwarebytes will go ahead and automatically remove all of the viruses off your PC, and then you'll be good to go. By removing viruses off your PC, you're going to see a big increase in overall PC performance and definitely better ping in game to coincide with that. Oftentimes, these viruses try their best to hide from you, so if you do notice that your ping is higher than usual lately, maybe go ahead and do a quick Malwarebytes scan to see if anything is going on. It's never going to hurt to check. The next tip is one that I've seen floating around YouTube and Reddit, where it's recommended that instead of keeping your matchmaking region set to auto, change it to your exact region. So as an example here, if you're in Europe, change it to be directly on Europe, and if you're NA East, change your matchmaking region to be exactly on NA East. The reason for this is because sometimes Fortnite will find a more stable match on a different server region. By changing your matchmaking region to be exactly where you're located, you're telling Fortnite to only connect to matches in your region and not connect to matches outside of your region, even if they're more stable. So make sure you have it set to be in your exact region, and then you'll know that you aren't getting put in matches that are in completely different regions than the one you're in. And finally, if you're somewhere where it's virtually impossible to get low ping because you're just so far away from the Fortnite servers, how do you deal with this? How do you improve on high ping? My personal favorite example of someone being good on high ping is Benjy Fishy. Let's just take a look at one of his fights on high ping. As we can see at the start of this clip, Benjy gets hit by a rocket and then builds a box around himself while the enemy tries to rush and bait Benjy with a ramp flip. Benjy then does an edit on the wall to shoot his opponent and then edits right back into his box, and then he sneaks around behind his builds, shooting the enemy again, and then confidently goes up to his opponent's wall, tries to take the wall, and obviously fails because he's on high ping. And at this point, the enemy has gotten scared and retreated into the house, and Benjy says screw this guy and goes after him with confidence. Benjy then breaks the wall, places a cone, and hits a nice tack shot on the enemy, and then pushes back to see if he can get an angle on him through one of the windows. And then Benjy hears the enemy reloading an AR, and then Benjy goes after him again, pushes forward, and then makes another tack shot, finishing off his opponent. In that cash cup that Benjy was just playing, he actually came 5th and was on 100+ ping the entire time. So what can we learn from that clip? Well, the answer is simple, really. Aim and confidence is everything. You can't just go ahead and take walls and do a bunch of fancy editing depending on high ping, so you really just need to stick with the basics. Aiming is definitely going to be one of the most important aspects in helping you on high ping, so you definitely need to make that a priority and aim train constantly. And confidence is another factor here. As you can see in that clip, the enemy started off super confident, and then when Benjy showed that he was the more confident player, he took control over the fight and eventually took out his opponent because he had the better aim and was the way more confident player. If you'd like to know how to become a more confident player in Fortnite, I actually made an entire video dedicated to that, so if you'd like to check that out, you can either click the card in the top right of this video or click the link in the video description. So with all that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please drop a like and subscribe because it helps me out so much. And if you'd like to go the extra mile and support me further, popping in code Cozmos in the item shop would help me out tremendously, and I'd really appreciate it. So with all that being said, guys, hope you all have yourselves an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one.